Welcome to Dan Brown's universe.
There comes a time when sometimes one must admit that they have been wrong. While it greatly and deeply pains me to even say it, with regards to Addison and his wrist-strong band, I was wrong. No, it was not wrong for me to ask Addison for the band. No, it was not wrong of me to declare war against him. It was not wrong for me to prank phone call him, tell my viewers to send him hate mail, or to amass an army to crush him. For these things, I have no regrets and offer no apologies. My only apology I offer to you, the viewer. At the outset, I expected that this war would be over by now, and that I would already have the wrist-strong band. Obviously, I was wrong. Addison is a much more stubborn opponent than I anticipated. While hate mail and prank phone calls have most certainly bruised his ego, they have not been enough to destroy his pride. Addison recently posted this video. Sickening. It is now clear that Addison has no intention of giving up his wrist-strong band. Brownies! We must step up our efforts. Phone calls and petty threats will no longer be enough. It is time to kick this operation into high gear. It's time to drop the hammer.
Hello?
General PeDavid?
Yeah?
Something horrible has happened.
What?
I think you need to come over right away.
Okay, I'll be there.
Come in right away.
What happened?
Let's play.
Son of a...
Let's go on an adventure! Adventure time!
Phase 1 of the hammer down operation. We need to get supplies.
Yup.
So how much paper do you think we're gonna need?
Quite a hefty amount.
Okay, we're here. Yes, I need lots of paper.
What the hell are you doing?
Do you want to win this war or not?
Phase 2. Polka dotting. Addison and his family are gone for the day, so we're gonna stick a bunch of big old paper polka dots all over his house. So what do you think, General PeDavid?
The operation was a success.
What do you think, Diane?
Good job, guys!
It's time for mail.
I recently received this email. Hi, Dan Brown. I was watching the news and they were talking about Virginia Tech and the shooting anniversary. They were arguing about whether they should carry guns in colleges for protection. I thought it was a crazy idea. What do you think? From Arson, with an E, not an O. Thank you, Arson, for the question, and I think that it's also important to note that in addition to the Virginia Tech anniversary, this week also marks the anniversary of the Columbine massacre that happened in 1999. This year has been a really bad year for gun violence. It started off, a year ago with the Virginia Tech massacre, and then we had the Omaha mall shootings, which hits particularly close to home for me, and then the shootings in Colorado could have been much, much worse at the church, and the shootings at Northern Illinois University, and in addition to every other gun-related crime that happens in the United States every year. The issue of gun control is one where both sides seem to think that it's just completely black and white, where really there's a whole lot of complexity and a whole lot of depth to the issue, to where no one side has a complete monopoly on the truth. With regards to the Virginia Tech massacre, there are those who argue that had the students had concealed weapons, that they could have stopped the shooter before so many lives had been lost. And I agree with that. There is, however, a distinction to be made between students having concealed weapons and students being allowed to have concealed weapons. Here in Nebraska, people are actually allowed to have concealed weapons, but for various reasons, very few people actually exercise that right. I would assume that if the right to carry a concealed weapon were extended to college students, that even fewer would carry a gun on campus than people do in the general public. Even if concealed weapons had been allowed at Virginia Tech on the day of the massacre, it's still unlikely that many students would have chosen to carry a gun. Even if a student did in fact have a gun, it's still a toss-up as to whether or not they would have been able to successfully take down the shooter. Something else that we must consider is that as human beings, we are all prone to spurts of irrationality. I mean, we all know what it feels like to get overly worked up in an argument or in a fight. If somebody is carrying a gun, it would only take a few seconds of lapsed judgment to ruin their own life while ending another. Allowing college students to carry concealed weapons in all likelihood would not have prevented the Virginia Tech massacre, and generally just isn't a very good idea. Rather than trying to convince college students to carry around concealed weapons, here's what I think should actually happen. It would be much more reasonable and much more effective for colleges to hire armed guards or to install metal detectors, or for colleges to invest in programs that might help to treat students with mental illness that might otherwise be the sort of student to go on a shooting spree like what happened at Virginia Tech. What's sad about all this is that there really is no easy solution. If somebody is determined to kill, there's really nothing that we can do to stop them. The most we can do is to try to stop the problem before it becomes a problem. The way that we do that is by making sure that, to the best of our abilities, that every student, every person in society for that matter, has a place, and that no one feels helpless. Now I guess that might be a little bit idealistic, and I mean realistically there's no clear-cut way to do that. I mean, and inevitably and tragically these things are occasionally going to happen. The one thing that I can say definitively is that to prevent massacres like the massacre of Virginia Tech, allowing students to have concealed weapons is not the best solution. Thank you, Arson, for the question. I hope that I answered it sufficiently. If anyone else out there has a question for me, please send me an email at danbrownuniverse@gmail.com. Well, that just about does it for this week. Thanks for watching. I will see you later. Bye.